The Wickedness of Man. After 5 decades of observing the world, experiencing its highs and lows, and learning from its trials, I feel it is my duty to reflect on what I have seen. Man's wickedness is not new. It stretches back through the ages, from the earliest stories of greed and betrayal to the chaos we see in the world today. But what is wickedness, and where does it come from? Is it simply the nature of man, or is it the result of the choices we make? The roots of wickedness. At the heart of man's wickedness lies selfishness. It is a desire to put oneself above others, to gain at any cost, and to satisfy one's hunger for power, wealth, or pleasure without considering the harm done to others. This selfishness, when left unchecked, grows like a disease. It turns kindness into cruelty, love into hate, and trust into betrayal. Over the years, I have seen greed tear families apart. I have witnessed lies destroy friendships and wars erupt over the pursuit of control. These are not distant events. They happen every day, in homes, workplaces, and nations. The wickedness of man is not just found in history books. It is all around us. How wickedness manifests. Greed, the endless hunger for more money, power, or possessions, is one of the most visible forms of wickedness. It blinds people to the needs of others and drives them to exploit, deceive, and even harm to satisfy their desires. Envy. Envy poisons the heart, making people resentful of others' success. Instead of celebrating others, they tear them down, sometimes going to great lengths to cause their downfall. Hatred and violence. Hatred begins as a seed of anger or prejudice. Left to grow, it leads to acts of violence, oppression, and cruelty that have left scars on humanity for generations. Dishonesty. Lies may seem small, but they can grow into a web of deceit that destroys trust and relationships. Dishonesty is one of the easiest ways for wickedness to take hold. Neglect of responsibility. Wickedness also comes from inaction, turning a blind eye to suffering, refusing to help when we can, or standing silent in the face of injustice allows wickedness to thrive. The ripple effects of wickedness. The wickedness of one person does not stop with them. It spreads. A lie told today can ruin a reputation tomorrow. A moment of greed can cause decades of pain. Entire generations can be scarred by the cruelty of a few. Wickedness is like a stone thrown into a pond, creating ripples that affect everything in its path. But while wickedness causes destruction, it also offers us a choice. Will we let it rule our lives, or will we fight against it? The path to change. Though wickedness is part of humanity's story, so is redemption. We are not powerless in the face of it. Here are a few lessons I've learned. Choose kindness. A simple act of kindness can break the cycle of wickedness. Even in the face of cruelty, responding with compassion can change hearts and inspire others. Speak the truth. Lies may seem easier in the short term, but they always cause harm. Choosing honesty builds trust and helps us stand against deceit. Stand against injustice. Don't remain silent when you see wrong being done. Speaking out and taking action, even in small ways, can make a big difference. Practice forgiveness. Wickedness often leads to cycles of revenge and resentment. Forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring wrongs, but it allows us to heal and move forward. Led by example. The best way to fight wickedness is to live as an example of goodness. When others see you acting with integrity, kindness, and courage, they are inspired to do the same. Friend, the wickedness of man is real and undeniable, but it is not the whole story. Just as darkness exists, so does light. And while we cannot erase all the wickedness in the world, we can choose to bring light into it. Every day, we have a choice to contribute to the world's pain or to help heal it. I hope these reflections help you as you navigate life. Remember, the world needs more people willing to stand for what is right, even when it's hard. Be that person, and you may find that the light of goodness shines brighter than any shadow of wickedness. As I sit down to write to you today, a deep and troubling truth weighs on my heart. The wickedness of men, so vast, so complex, and so pervasive, cannot truly be studied. It defies understanding, calculation, or categorization. Over the years, I have watched it manifest in ways both subtle and glaring, and yet every attempt to grasp its nature fully slips through my fingers like sand. Let me share with you why this is so, and why it matters to us all. The depths of wickedness. Wickedness is not a single act or idea. It is a force, a shadow that resides within the heart of man, hidden until circumstances bring it to light. Men lie, cheat, steal, and harm, not always because they must, but because they can. This darkness does not follow logic. It cannot be mapped like the stars, or solved like a mathematical equation. Wickedness often appears in moments we least expect it, making it impossible to predict or contain. History has shown us this truth time and time again. How can one study the atrocities of war, where ordinary people commit unspeakable acts? How can one quantify the betrayal of a trusted friend, the cruelty of a stranger, or the indifference of those who turn away from suffering? Wickedness operates on levels far beyond reason. The many faces of wickedness. Over the decades, I have seen wickedness wear many masks. The wickedness of power. Those in positions of authority often use their influence not to protect, but to oppress. This abuse of power destroys trust and crushes the vulnerable. The wickedness of greed. A hunger for more money, more control, more recognition. Drives people to act without care for the lives they damage. The wickedness of indifference. Sometimes, wickedness is not an action but inaction. When people refuse to act in the face of injustice or turn away from those in need, their indifference allows evil to flourish. The wickedness of the heart. Jealousy, hatred, and pride often breed the most profound forms of cruelty. These inner battles give rise to external harm. The terrifying thing about wickedness is its unpredictability. It is not confined to one group, one time, or one place. It resides in all of us, waiting for a moment of weakness or opportunity to emerge. Why wickedness cannot be studied. Some may argue that wickedness can be analyzed through psychology, sociology, or history. But these disciplines only scratch the surface. They may explain the why or the how, but they can never fully capture the essence of wickedness. Here's why. It is too deep. Wickedness comes from a place far deeper than the mind. It emerges from the soul. No study can fully understand the human soul's capacity for darkness. It is too varied. Wickedness takes on countless forms, from subtle manipulation to outright violence. Its diversity makes it impossible to categorize or predict. It is too personal. Every act of wickedness is rooted in unique circumstances, thoughts, and choices. No two acts of wickedness are the same, just as no two people are identical. It is too hidden. Often, wickedness is disguised. It wears the mask of goodness, charity, or justice, deceiving even those who think they know it best. To study wickedness is like trying to study the wind. You may see its effects, feel its presence, or measure its strength, but you can never truly hold or control it. A call to vigilance. If wickedness cannot be studied, what can we do about it? While we may not fully understand it, we can guard against it. Over the years, I have learned a few lessons that I hope will help you. Look within. Acknowledge the capacity for wickedness within yourself. It is easy to point fingers at others, but true vigilance begins with the heart. Practice integrity. Choose what is right, even when it is difficult. Wickedness thrives in moments of weakness and compromise. Stand together. Evil often triumphs when people stand alone. Build communities of trust and accountability to help resist wickedness. Teach the next generation. Share the importance of kindness, fairness, and courage with those who come after us. While we cannot erase wickedness, we can inspire hope and goodness. Friend, the wickedness of men may never be fully understood, but that does not mean we are powerless against it. Recognizing its existence is the first step to overcoming it. While we cannot study or control wickedness, we can choose to rise above it. Each of us carries the potential for both darkness and light. In every choice, in every word, and in every action, we decide which one we will bring into the world. Let us choose wisely. Let us strive to be the light that pushes back against the shadows. May this letter remind you of the strength within you to resist the wickedness around you and inspire others to do the same. If you have watched this far, then you must know that you are making the right choice. Follow and subscribe for more.